Our next guest is a master of modern American cuisine and has been for decades. So when it comes to preparing great tasting food, including flavorful, juicy steak, he's our go-to guy. Joining us by satellite from New York today is Iron Chef and culinary consultant Jeffrey Zakarian, who tells us all about the Great Steak Challenge. And we welcome him back to Virginia this morning. Jeffrey, it's great to see you.
Hi, Jessica. Cheers, first of all. I know it's 9:25 in the morning, but it's always nice to have a glass of this Beringer Founders Estate.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right, Jeffrey?
Well. It is actually 5 o'clock somewhere. Where would that be? Probably Europe somewhere,
yeah,
actually.
Probably Europe. Or if I were pretending, it's New York this morning where you are, because that setup looks delightful.
Yes. Yeah, well, I am surrounded by great wine and great steak, and I'm so happy to be here as the culinary ambassador to Beringer Vineyards. A very special place where we filmed all summer for Chopped Grill Masters. I don't know if you saw that, but it was really amazing.
It is such the perfect pairing, a steak and a delicious glass of wine. And I guess that's probably tip number one in bold, is finding the right pairing.
Yes. Yes, and I think that I always tell people that the tips to doing something well are to do it correctly. And that sounds strange, but you have to have a few tools. First of all, you need to have a great steak. We know we have a great wine. We have Beringer Founders Estate. You know, this is an amazing wine. It's about $15, so it's incredibly reasonable. But the steak is important too. And the steak, and if you go to the website, greatsteakchallenge.com for Beringer, you'll see the exact recipes we're doing here. The steak has to be really the first quality you can find. I mean, buy the best, because obviously you're not going to have sirloin steak all the time. This is for a special occasion. And you want to make sure it's room temperature. You want to make sure you have a cast iron pan, very hot. And you liberally season the steak, and then you cook it on both sides until you have a nice char. And this is really key. This is a digital thermometer. And, excuse me, I think the number one question I get online, on Twitter, on Facebook, and even through Beringer and some of the websites were, how do I know when my steak is cooked? How many minutes? And it's not a question of minutes, it's a question of one thing, and that's the temperature. And if you just put this in the middle of your steak, and it says 125 degrees, you're done.
Bingo.
You're always done forever.
Bingo, bango.
You'll be a happy person.
That's right.
Bingo. You take it off, you let it rest for at least 5 minutes. Don't cut the steak. Let it rest 5 minutes. And now you can enjoy your Beringer Founders Estate knowing that the steak is perfect. It's looking at you on the board. It's a happy steak, and you're a happy person because you're drinking this wine and you have that steak. And it's never going to be anything less than medium rare. So if you do that, those secret tips, then you're happy. The next thing is, of course, you have a sharp knife. But that's just beside the point, because you could serve that thing whole, not even cut it, and let your guest cut it. And the reaction when a guest cuts a perfectly cooked piece of steak and looks at it and drinks a glass of this wine is amazing. You're a genius. So that's how you become a steak genius.
I was going to say, and that's how you become the most popular dinner hoster in your group. They'll be over all the time looking for the perfect steak again.
Be careful what you wish for. Exactly.
That's right. Now, I have one question, Jeffrey. We're almost out of time. You mentioned room temperature. Yes. Are you saying serve it at room temperature?
Yes.
Or make sure, okay. Do I need to let it warm up before?
No, that's a great question, Jessica. You want it
warm up before I cook?
Like anything. You want it, absolutely. And when I say warm up, I say that, not, literally, you want it to come to temperature where it's not cold to touch. So I'd say pull a steak out about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, let it sit on your counter on a plate, and then let it sit there until it gets to the temperature of the ambient room temperature, and then cook it. If you cook it cold, you're going to get a steak on the outside that's going to be very gray and cooked, and on the inside it could be raw. So you want to make sure you get that nice, beautiful medium rare all the way through when you cut it and you open it up. You see it on those ads, and the steak is perfect.
And in my dreams. Jeffrey,
thank you. In your dreams.
Thank you for the insight.
You will do it.
Appreciate
Just get this. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Next time I hope he sends a bottle of Beringers this way, and then we'll really do some quality control.